Hey everybody, whiteboard video time with Resound. I'm Eric.
And I'm Chris.
And in case you haven't seen our whiteboard videos before, we're doing something a little different today. Today we are seated. That's different. Normally Chris is out here drawing, doing all sorts of stuff, and as I babble on, but today we're gonna have Chris take the controls because he wrote a really cool blog article on our website called Branding for Action-Biased Leaders, and it's a really, really meaty topic. We have only pulled out like a very small section of this because I find this topic kind of intriguing, and it's the idea of branding is leadership.
Yeah, so one of the things that I used to teach my students was we talk about branding, and I always found it interesting because I'd always go back to the leadership books to get ideas about branding.
Stuff for branding.
Because branding is substance, right?
True.
Leadership is substance.
Good leadership is substance.
Yeah.
So you framed it around these four things: vision, strategy, poise, and personality. And I am struck by how you kind of see these things aligning. So paint us a picture for how these things align with leadership and then how they tie into branding as you see it.
Yeah, so first of all, I think branding and leadership are pretty much the same. And so it was easy to kind of come up with this list. The thing to know about this list is it's not a comprehensive list of what leadership is, right? This is a very particular point of view having to do with how to lead the branding process and how to be an action-biased leader and still do action, right? still do stuff.
Still have to do stuff.
And then at the same time, have develop the character. So it's a lot like the whole warrior poet idea, where you're a doer, but who understands the deeper things as well, right? Because that's how you raise your ceiling as a leader.
Got it.
Or as a brand. And these are in no particular order, and you can find out more in the blog. Read the blog. But vision being one of the first things, and to be able to, you ever go into a meeting and you're talking with somebody about the something you want to do, but when you're talking, you reach the end of everything you know, and you have nothing more to say, and so you're all just kind of like, I'm on the spot, have nothing more to say, let me backpedal, BS, or whatever. Yeah. Vision is what helps you push through. So it's like, better example, fighting. Anybody ever throw a Muay Thai kick or throw a punch? Or you're supposed to punch through.
Everybody in our audience has done that.
Right, yeah, so, but you're supposed to punch through, or like a soccer ball, or, like anything, golf.
There you go.
Right?
Follow through.
Golf. It's follow through. You hit through
vision
the ball.
Follow through.
You don't hit only far enough, right?
Yeah.
And so vision is what helps you follow through. It tells you where to go. Where am I following through to? Right? What's my end point in my swing? Right? So
just as like, where can I see my brand in 10 years or something like that?
And it's fun because you don't have to be the super strategic. Like I'm a strategic leader and I can plan from here to here. It's intuitive, right? You can be a leader and you can use vision as kind of like your endpoint, and you can use vision to hold strategy accountable. So even if you're not this massive systems thinker, but you're still the head of your company, you still have to, fill this role as the leader. You don't have to necessarily understand everything about strategy. All you have to do is say, hey, here's my vision. What does it look like?
Right.
What are the components of that? How do I bring that to life? And then you bring other people in with strategy, and then you just, what are the KPIs that hold strategy?
So that's a good point, because when I think about it from a branding standpoint, I know I've seen a lot of businesses where they might have started with a vision for their company that was very, very small, a vision for their brand that was very small, and so as, assuming they got lucky and their brand, their organization grew, the vision that they originally had for their brand had a very short runway, and so they might have a product line where the product actually outgrows the brand that they started because their vision wasn't deep enough, and they didn't have people working with them to inform that brand strategy to say, hey, we might need to think about how to grow this over time, or where it's going to grow over time.
There was no follow through, right? They swung and they got up and they got an inch past the ball and they're like,
that was it.
Hold it back, right?
Okay.
The follow through is how it's the confidence that you give yourself for that part of the swing, right?
Got it.
Follow through.
So what's the poise and personality? Because these are interesting. I mean, I from a brand standpoint, personality makes a lot of sense. But tell me about the poise.
Yeah. So poise. You might even say poise comes from vision and strategy, because if you have poise, you're not so worried about what happened this week.
It's
You're not
confidence.
It's confidence. You're not so worried, like, if you have poise, are you worried that you said the wrong thing in a meeting for a second, and do you let that bother you for the rest of the meeting? No, you're like, you have poise. You're like, you know what? I know what I'm about. I know what I'm here for. I know people forgive me. I know there's something bigger going on than just what I.
And everybody else knows it too.
Everybody else knows.
So I can have a faux pas, but it's not going to ruin me.
Right.
So like I think of, I don't know, and you tell me if this is what you're thinking, but from a brand standpoint, a brand that has poise can afford a product mishap, or can afford if they can afford a recall,
right,
or whatever, because they don't completely lose it and they don't abandon these things when stuff happens under pressure.
And yes, and a very important also thing is another component of that poise, another benefit of it, is that if everybody's kind of like, you know, you're doing the right thing and other people are against you, you can still say, but we're doing the right thing and we're not going to change, you know?
Which sometimes can be the right play in the long run.
It almost always is, right? I mean,
because otherwise you just blow in the wind.
Well, think about a lot of, you know, comedians who make a joke or something, they apologize. What, does Roseanne Barr have her show back now? No.
Well, she did. And
I mean,
no.
I mean,
No.
You know, and I'm not saying that, you know, but there's poise allows you to be transparent. It allows you to lead because you're not so worried about what everybody's saying. You're able
it's a little
to
authenticity
lead your own
too.
direction,
It
right?
seems like you can be who you are, which I assume then kind of feeds into personality. Like you're real.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that brings up a good point too. Is poise basically says like, hey, I'm real, whether anybody believes it or not, and whether everybody likes it or not. Not because you're proud and you don't care about other people, just because you just know it's more important. My brand is more important. You know, my personality, but my values are more important to me than what people think. You know, and that creates a very strong ground, a very firm foundation. But personality is just, you know, that's different because it shows people I'm fun to talk to. You know, like it shows your point of view, your point of view on life, and people have to like you and trust you in order to buy from you, right?
Well, I think about these like with some really well-known brands, the Nikes, the Starbucks, the Apples. I mean, those brands all had vision and strategy behind them. They most certainly had poise because it wasn't always easy for them, and yet they didn't completely abandon their principles or their vision, right? And then over time, we as consumers feel like we've gotten to know those brands on a almost a personal level, and people who are rabid fans of those brands certainly feel like they have it's almost like dealing with a person. You know, you take Starbucks away from a Starbucks fanatic, and they're like, no, it's like taking away a firstborn, because they've humanized that brand.
Starbucks and all your
it's interesting. It's cool because you can see how. Yeah, great leaders exhibit these traits, but great brands also do it. And could be a testament to the leadership of those brands sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. Do you think, I mean, everybody thinks like, well, if I had all Nike stuff, I'd be Nike. But no, you wouldn't. You think you'd Phil Knight? I mean, the guy's he has so much experience and so much of these things he was able to maintain while at the same time making smart business decisions. Yeah. He was able to balance, you know, his vision for Nike. And basically, he was able to push that through. And he was able to get the right people to partner with him. Joe Schmo off the street. I mean, it's hard to do. You have to build your character.
Well, this is, even though I know this is one part of the blog that you wrote, what's interesting is the pursuit of these in business and being a great leader. It's an ongoing pursuit.
Yep.
You know, we hold up people that say, well, this person got it right. We should study what they did. And this really means, if we're drawing this connection, that branding is just as hard to get it right.
It's work, and it's like
it's really hard
over time. It's like you have to put your brand on the anvil and continue to hammer it. You know.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It hurts, and it's not always fun, but that's what makes people and brands of character, right?
Very cool stuff.
I want to add one more thing.
Go.
If we're closing off, so I do want to say that there was that research, just continually in the literature, that just shows that people. Consumers, customers, they look at your brand as if it's another person. Because there's no other way, there's no other frame of reference we have, right?
Yep.
Brands are people, as far as we know. And so we expect them to act like people. And so that's why If you
why
understand
this is
branding so
important.
well, yeah, then you'll look at leaders, and you'll
Cool.
look at people and why people respect, want to do business with. Think of the people you like.
It's a good tie-in.
Yeah,
I love it.
So
this is a whole
one-
thing, but there's just one piece of
Yeah, so
a
this
larger
is
post.
Yeah, one part of the post, but it's kind of an important central part that
Cool.
ties it all together.
So go to resoundcreative.com/insights.
Yep.
Check it out. It is branding for action-biased leaders. Meaty article. Go digest.
Meaty.
It's more than bathroom reading, folks.
Yes.
So much more than that.
Very meaty.
All right. We'll see you on the next video.
Right.
Meaty.